Hello, everybody. This is Jeff Veale, the business guru. No, we're not coming here from outer space, but you'll hear more about that in a moment. I've got a wonderful guest on the show today, and welcome to 15 Minutes of Fame, right? The podcast where ordinary people stop being invisible and start to stand out, be seen, be heard, and be remembered, right? I'm Jeff Veale. I'm the host of the show, The Business Guru, and today we're about to meet someone with a story to tell that's really worth hearing. And here comes the story, guys. I have with me today, I have Monica, I'm thinking about the Bermuda Triangle, Monica Bermudez. And Monica is a quantum purpose advocator. Now, you're going to ask me what that is, aren't you? And she's going to tell us later, don't worry, right? And her industry is frequency, wellness, quantum architect. Years doing this, 5 years plus. Monica is a catalyst to highly sensitive people with trauma and dark night of the soul to convert an empowered soul-led wealth and purpose, right? She's a galactic shaman and DNA activator working in the multidimensional space, which is the essence of quantum field of potentiality that we hold as humans. Monica is a mystical teacher, healer, podcast host, and author. So she's got quite a few titles there. Key achievements of projects: empowerment, self-discovery, catalyst for soul, remembrance, reconnection, renewal, and of course, revival. All very important, guys. Personal motto, and one of mine too: anything is possible. If you can dream it, you can achieve it, guys. Right? Interesting fact, I have a degree in engineering and business. I love to bridge science, mysticism, and spirituality into my work. My great pleasure to welcome to the stage today, Monica. How are you, Monica?
I'm great, Jeff. Thank you for having me and thank you for your time and for that wonderful introduction of myself.
No, you know where to send my bottle of scotch. No, I'm kidding. Uh,
Oh,
tell us about your journey and what inspired you to pursue your current career path all those years ago. What happened?
so I had a really deep catalyst moment myself, and a huge turning point in my life, which was after the divorce, where I really felt that I had already achieved everything that I had to achieve in life. And I thought, that was pretty much the end of everything because I've always known about mysticism and also had like really accomplished achievements, through my education. So, but what I started working on was more of myself and the patterns and really started to become more aware where those patterns were that I needed to heal in myself. So that's where I went into this journey of like self-discovery. It's almost like, getting to know yourself more. Then, sometimes we get so like caught up in everyday life, working but not really sitting down and reflecting on yourself and really discovering who you really are at the soul level and the heart. And so that's where I started to dig deeper within myself, like inner, rediscovery.
Yeah.
And so the more that I think what really helped me the most, because I went hiking a lot out in nature for hours, like every weekend. And nature is like a
Yep.
natural
Yep.
activator, I would say,
Yep.
of, you know, getting us to tap in more naturally within ourselves, because there's that whole reconnection that happens with nature. Because I feel like most of us are disconnected from nature because we spend most of our time in an office or at work or,
Yeah. I agree with that.
indoors.
Yep.
I think that's the missing link.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. And I love your journey where you discovered yourself. I meet a lot of women, for example, around 50, and they go, "Oh, woe is me. Children have left home, and I'm divorced." I got bad news for you, my friend. You're only at the halfway mark. You got to start again. But
Yeah.
the fact you can start again, the second chapter is always better than the first chapter, always, right?
Second, third, it's always
Yeah,
like when you go through
exactly.
a reset, a renewal,
Yeah,
it's much stronger because you have greater wisdom, and your
that's right.
wisdom is your strength, is your foundation.
And you don't get in, guys. I'm 77. I tell you, you don't get. I think that's a lot. You don't get wisdom from books. It's out there in cyberspace somewhere, and it just pops into
Mm.
your head one day, and you go, "Aha!" Because you're ready. You're
Yeah,
ready
it's
for it.
part of the experience, the journey
Yeah,
that we're on here as
yeah.
humans.
It comes into your head when you're ready. You got to be ready. That's the whole point.
Hmm.
What's been the most challenging aspect of your work, and how are you overcoming that?
Getting through my own lack of self-worth and my own trust in myself, the doubt that keeps creeping in. So those were my biggest blocks and biggest challenges, before I actually officially launched my business as an actual business.
Yep.
But I've never been a stranger to a lot of the extrasensory type abilities, right? Which is really about the psychic and intuition that we all have. And I've always been fascinated by it, but I've never shared it, publicly. And it's
Yep.
not until like I started my business that I started to get more into public. But to get there, I had to overcome my own stage fright, which included, the visibility and being seen, which was linked mostly to the lack of self-worth and the trust, in myself. And that's because I had been carrying so much trauma from, these really outdated patterns that were playing out, from previous lifetimes. And so that's just my personal experience, my own perception on what it was that I was, going through. And the moment that I started to heal more of that and really carve more of myself, and even though it was hard at times, to sometimes it could be hard facing yourself, actually saying to yourself what is actually rotting,
Yep.
it's hard for people to see um the parts that are, the weakness, I would say,
Fair enough.
or, what people may call it the negative side of it, the shadow. Some
Sure.
people don't want to deal with the shadow,
I
it's
like the
yucky.
shadow. So tell me, turn the bloody light on. You get rid of a shadow, turn the light on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Tell
And
me, what's been the
yeah.
most challenging aspect of your work and how are you overcoming that? What's your secret there?
Well, the part about trusting my channel, my intuition, and the messages that I was getting from my own inner guidance, which to me, it's all about the heart. And
Yep.
because the heart is much bigger than what we've been told in school, there
Yeah.
is no
No.
educational
Yeah.
system that really tells you what it is. And this is the part where people are going to start to wake up to their own inner truth and their own authenticity, to be able to step forward
Love
um,
that.
in who they really are at the soul level.
Yeah. It's about being authentic. Tell us an important moment in your career um, where you pivoted and changed direction. What happened?
I feel like I'm a interview at work.
Yeah.
Uh, but it's just no, but see, like for me, I feel like as a healer, right? For those who are into the healing modality or into like any form of channeling,
Mhm.
if you're starting out to really explore your extrasensory gifts, um, there is this whole reinvention that happens. Sometimes your creativity is always creating something new, and so that means that uh, we may feel like there may be a next level to something else.
Yes.
For me, I felt that I started off, with my business focused just on the romantic relationship because I didn't really know what, I was really going to contribute as a
Cool.
business, but I was being called to something, this next level. And I knew that I had these extrasensory abilities. I just didn't know how to put it all into like a marketing promotional type thing, so I just started off with the romantic relationships, in the heart, but that evolved into something bigger, which was more into like working with people, like men and women who are still holding on to like trauma, and this is more going into the energetic level, and this is where the quantum comes in,
Yeah.
because quantum physics, is it's not just a trendy thing that's happening right now, but this is like a real field of energy that we all harness, ourselves. And so that's part of the way that I've been evolving into, into teaching others about how to tap into their own resource. And it's really about the empowerment of others. So I
Yeah.
don't want anybody to be dependent on me or dependent, anybody else, but be their own like guru. Like you
Yeah.
have like this idea about your business guru.
Yeah.
Everybody has the ability to be their own guru and be
Absolutely.
empowered that
Agree.
way.
Yeah. Tell me, in your opinion, what are the key qualities and skills that have made you so successful at what you're doing? what's the background there? What do you believe the qualities, those skills that you have, what are they?
Channeling, like I get into a trance channel and bring in different light codes that's unique for whoever is receiving it, whether that's in a group or in a private session.
Mm,
And so what they've done is that the energy does most of the work. It's
mm,
not like, you sit down with therapists, it's fine, you can talk to somebody, and release your information, but the energy for us, like I would say 99% more energy than we are, anything else or a spiritual realm. And so that the energy does most of the work that works in the DNA, and it's able to clear layers of certain patterns that have been like sabotaging, people in certain ways. And I've seen extraordinary things in clients occur, like some of their people's extrasensory abilities started to like open up more,
yes,
like clear audience and all that. So, and surprises the person receiving it, or people will receive more clarity um,
nice.
in themselves.
Yeah. Also, I spoke to Monica off air for a little while earlier, and we had a bit of a laugh. She's got great empathy. She's very good at what she does. She's got great empathy. She's a great listener. And when you listen, guys, you've got to hear you've got to hear not what's being said. You've got to hear what's not being said as well, right? So it's all about the empathy, and she's a superstar at that. Tell me, Monica, what's your secret? How do you stay motivated and continue to innovate and grow in your field?
Well, I take a moment to myself when I need to journal, for
Yeah,
instance.
yeah.
And so like, some we all get like download of information or get
Oh,
into our creative
yeah,
space, which is to me like channeling when you're getting into your creative space. So you'll receive messages from your own guides, and
yeah,
in that moment you feel, inspired to write down something, like it could be an idea.
yeah.
And I've gone through those, like I'd be listening to music. Music is another thing because I love to listen to music, and so that helps
Nice.
my creativity
Mhm.
expand.
Yeah, I just speaking of music, I just on the weekend I went with my girl to IMAX and we saw Michael the musical. It was bloody awesome. What a story! What a story! Wow.
Wow, nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Oh, great
I
one.
love those kind of stuff.
Yeah. Oh, and it's just so talented, and the actor. God, and well, you dead set thought it was Michael. It was just a bloody amazing show. Amazing show. I'm glad I went.
Yeah,
I'd
yeah.
recommend it to anybody. It was a wonderful show. Tell us about a recent project or achievement amongst your many. Tell us a recent story of something you're particularly proud of.
Hmm. Let's see. Well, I would say like when I see clients, the outcome that they receive,
I believe that's the best.
it,
That's the best.
it makes me
It
feel
does, isn't it?
good.
Yeah,
When I get their information, of what they see, especially when they see visually and what they
yeah.
receive,
When
in
they
that
when they give you
moment,
when they give you the feedback, right? When you love it,
the
love hearing the
feedback.
feedback. Yeah,
Yeah. Because, when I'm channeling, the light codes, I see my own perception, my own visual, like clear
yeah,
audience, and the client will receive, something, they'll actually see it themselves too, or, they'll get something else that's, much bigger, like a different picture, different side of the view,
yeah,
And so when I receive the feedback and those messages, that makes you feel good. I'd say like
yeah.
it's a nice I love to see results in
Yeah.
others, that
Well, I
it is
love.
making a
Well,
difference.
I've done over 500 of these. When I talk to my guests, quite often, quite very often, they'll do a trigger word. I'm going to make one up and say golf. They might say golf, and I go, "Oh, golf." Takes me back to the days when I was 19 and I got a hole in one. So these trigger words take me back to a lot of my memories. You know what I mean? Because they just say a word, like an area or a country or and it's amazing. All the good memories come flooding back. That's what life's about. It's
Yeah,
not about the money. It's about
yeah,
memories, guys.
yeah, yeah.
Memories, you've got to be aiming for memories and freedom. And when you're like Monica and you've got a job like she's got, or like I've got, we haven't got a job, we've got a passion. Guys, I work 12 and 14 hours a day, so I
Mm,
don't have to work in a soul-sucking job for a boss. I love what I do. It's not work, it's just pleasure. I enjoy it because like Monica, I'm learning each and every day. And I learn from my guests. Tell us, Monica, a 20-year-old comes to you, might be a son, a daughter, a niece, or a nephew. and they say, Monica, I've just left school. What should I do with myself? With your mystical powers, what would you tell them?
Start by getting to know yourself.
Yeah, yeah,
So, sometimes there's things that we say we don't want, right? Based on our experience, if we had traumatic experiences in our
yeah,
life. But what if we ask, what is it that you really want? You know?
yeah. Just go for it. And I say,
Yeah.
if you're 20, I tell people, get out there and muck it up. You can make all the mistakes you like, because when you're
Mhm.
30, you're still a young person. You've got the whole life ahead of you still. Right. So learn while you're young, make all the mistakes, and then get on with life, because life's pretty tough. The more you grow up,
Yeah.
the more you realize it. When you're young, you don't realize it, the responsibilities and the bills and
Yeah.
etc. So
Yeah.
enjoy life, guys. I mean, I travel deliberately, guys. I travel, as lucky you, Jeff. I travel every 2 months. Why? Because I work hard and I want to play hard.
Yes.
I go to new countries, new food, new people, because that motivates me. That's my why.
Yeah.
That's why I do
Yeah.
it.
The why is a very key component of all of it. But
Yeah,
what's more important too is the joy behind the why,
yeah,
to do it
absolutely.
with joy.
Yeah. And by the way, guys, when I do travel, I travel where possible. I've got a trick for this. I travel on a one-way ticket because I don't know how long I'm going to stay. Sometimes I stay
Oh,
5 days, sometimes I stay 3 months.
I
Right?
like that.
Yeah, because I can.
Yeah.
I don't
Why
want to
not?
schedule like I go for 7 days and I start loving it. I've got to come home. No, I go one way. All right. Tell me, Monica, looking ahead, you're only a young woman. What are your goals and aspirations for the future as you keep climbing that mountain? What are you going to be doing?
Working with more people, reaching out to more people and helping them overcome their dark night of the soul,
Yeah.
because there is so much of that going on right now, on the
Yeah.
planet, and really tap in more into their potential that they really hold as humans. Everybody has this, can harness more energy than any than you can ever imagine with your human brain, because it's not about the human brain, it's really about the heart that goes in deeper to the soul, which is a gateway to the soul.
There's that trigger word again. I had a guest about 6 months ago, a lovely lady, and she came on the show and we were talking, nearly fell off my chair when she said, be a better human. And I thought, what a
Mm,
saying that is, be a better human. I could see it, I'm a
hmm.
marketing guy, I could see t-shirts, be a better human, hats, go to Africa, drill holes in the ground and find water for people. Be a better human. So live that every day, guys. Just give a smile. I hop in the lift, I talk to someone and say, good morning. It doesn't cost you nothing, right?
Yeah.
But you brighten up someone else's day. So where
Hmm.
possible, be a better human, right?
Be a better version of yourself.
That's it. Every day, every day.
Hmm.
And remember, when you're down, we all have our moments, guys, ups and downs. When you're down, just think
Hmm.
positively and think, hey, good, tomorrow I'm going to have a better day because today I'm having a down day. Tomorrow means I'm going to be having an up day. Right? Simple. Look
Pretty
ahead.
much, yes.
It's only 24 hours between good and bad. Tell our listeners, what's the best way to reach out and find out more about your wonderful services and have a virtual cup of coffee? What would be the best way to do that?
Well, go to my website, monicalight44.com, that you see there on the
On the screen,
screen.
yep.
You'll find where my podcast is also, um, and other events and programs that I have ongoing.
Nice.
And my email, my contact information is there
Yeah,
too.
and LinkedIn, guys, I guess LinkedIn would be a good one as well, I'd imagine. And
Yeah.
guys, 15 minutes of fame is, you can see, it's like talking to a friend. And we want you to, every man and woman out there's got a story. And what we do, we take your story, it's very unique. It's not no ordinary podcast here. We take your story and we turn the whole thing into a mini evergreen, the word evergreen movie about you. And you can put that out there for the rest of your life. You can put it out on your email, on your website, go on LinkedIn and say, I was interviewed by the guru, etc., etc. And I've had clients make a fortune from people found their podcast months later. I had one recently, he landed $1 million contract with a hotel chain from the podcast. So there's the tool, there's the vehicle, guys. Come and get your 15 minutes of fame and reach out to people like Monica. Costs you nothing, guys. It's free to have a virtual cup of coffee and see if Monica can help you and put you in the right
Yeah.
stratosphere, if you like.
Yeah.
Tell me, um, before we wrap it up, Monica, tell us a fun fact about yourself that most people do not know.
Well, I have an engineering degree and also a business degree. And what I love, my passion is really about bridging the science, the
There you go.
mysticism, and the spirituality of all
Yeah,
in the physical world, making practical way,
yeah, hear that word, guys? Passion. She's got that in spades. You can tell she's a passionate lady, and it's all about the passion, guys. Find your passion. You'll never work another day in your life. It might take you. And I tell people, if you're in a bad relationship or a bad job, move. You're not a tree. Or communicate. Go and tell you, but I don't like this. Can I do something else? Or tell your partner, I'm not happy about such and such. Communicate. That's what the key to it all, guys. Communication. It's a big one. Monica, you've been an awesome guest. Thanks very much for being on the show. Any last words for our audience?
Well, anything's possible. That's what I always say is my philosophy.
Yeah,
So
sounds
if
like
you're in
something
a grunt,
sounds like something Michael Jackson would say, because he was a great believer. He was an amazing. We made his movie. It's an amazing journey. Thanks, Monica, for being on the show, my friend.
all right, thank you so much, Jeff.